Imagine a reality where time isn't just a ticking clock in the background of your life. It is the only currency you possess. Picture yourself born with a glowing orb, a finite reserve of moments, say 80 years worth, pulsing in your hands. Every breath, every thought, every step you take deducts from it. A meal might cost you an hour, a day of labor, perhaps 10. When that orb dims to nothing, your existence ceases. This isn't our world, where time slips by unnoticed. An invisible thread we assume will stretch indefinitely. Here it's tangible, measurable, and absolute. What does this shift reveal? It forces us to ask, what truly makes a moment valuable? Not in abstract terms, but in the stark light of a resource you can see slipping away. This isn't about survival. It's about what survival serves. Let's step into this universe and peel back the layers of how we define worth. In this universe, value isn't tied to gold, status, or possessions. It's time itself. Every choice becomes a transaction. Want to rest? That's 2 hours gone. Want to learn something new? Maybe a day. The orb in your hands glows dimmer with every decision, a relentless reminder that nothing is free. This isn't just a practical shift, it's a philosophical earthquake. In our world, we measure worth by what we accumulate: wealth, accolades, experiences. But here, accumulation is impossible. You don't gain time, you only spend it. The question becomes, what justifies the cost? Is it the intensity of a fleeting joy, the depth of a connection, or the legacy of an action? This universe strips away the illusion that value lies outside us and places it squarely in how we choose to burn through our finite reserve. Consider what this does to agency. Every act is a deliberate trade-off, a moment of your life spent on one thing and not another. There's no procrastination here, no "I'll do it later," because later isn't guaranteed. It's already accounted for in your orb. This heightens the stakes of free will. In our reality, we often drift, assuming time will stretch to accommodate our indecision. But in this universe, indecision itself costs you. To stand still, to hesitate, is to spend time on nothing. What does that reveal about how we wield our freedom? Are we truly choosing, or are we letting our moments bleed away unexamined? This premise forces us to confront whether our autonomy is as robust as we think, or if it is just a luxury of an unquantified existence. Now imagine you can give your time to someone else, or take theirs. A parent might pour hours into a child's orb, dimming their own. A worker might trade days for food from another's reserve. This isn't charity or theft in the usual sense. It's a literal exchange of existence. What does this do to ethics? In our world, we debate the morality of wealth gaps or resource distribution. But here, the stakes are visceral. To take someone's time is to shorten their life. To give yours is to hasten your own end. Does this make generosity more noble or more reckless? Does it make exploitation more evil or just more transparent? The golden threads of exchange in this universe don't just connect people. They redefine the boundaries of self and other, challenging us to ask, where does my value end and yours begin? In our reality, we often judge a life by what it produces: careers built, art created, systems changed. But in this universe, productivity isn't the default metric. If crafting a masterpiece costs you a year, and sitting quietly with a loved one costs the same, which holds more value? The orb doesn't care. It dims either way. This forces a radical shift, from doing to being. A moment of stillness, of pure awareness, might weigh as much as a tangible achievement. What does that say about our obsession with output? Are we overvaluing what we can show for our time and undervaluing what we feel within it? This universe suggests that presence, raw, unadorned existence, might be the truest currency of a life well lived. Here's where it gets slippery. Value becomes intensely personal. One person might spend their time on laughter, another on contemplation, another on labor for others. The orb doesn't judge, it only depletes. Yet the universal total of time remains fixed, a cosmic limit no one can escape. This tension between subjective choice and objective scarcity mirrors a paradox in our own lives. We each decide what matters, but we can't deny the shared reality of finitude. Does this make value a private fiction, a story we tell ourselves? Or does it hint at a deeper truth? That meaning emerges only in the act of choosing, even under an impartial sky. This universe doesn't answer. It demands we wrestle with the question ourselves. Now let's turn the lens back on us. In our world, time isn't a glowing orb. It is a silent current we rarely see until it is gone. We don't trade it explicitly, but we do spend it. On jobs, on screens, on worries. The difference is, we don't know the cost until the reserve is low. This alternate universe makes the invisible visible, and in doing so, it exposes a blind spot. We act as if time is infinite, as if value lies in what we can hoard or display. But what if we treated every moment like a coin from a finite purse? Would we cling to the same priorities, or would we see them as illusions propped up by an uncounted clock? This universe dismantles another assumption, that life is about building something lasting. Here, there's no legacy beyond the moment of spending. You can stockpile time or pass it on after you're gone. The orb dies with you. In contrast, we chase permanence, monuments, reputations, wealth, hoping they'll outlast us. But if time were our only currency, would that chase feel hollow? Perhaps the value isn't in what endures, but in what we choose to experience while the light still glows. This shift doesn't negate ambition, it reframes it. What if the point isn't to leave a mark, but to live one? So what do we take from this? In a universe where time is currency, value isn't an external prize. It's an internal stance. It's not about how much you have, but how you spend it. Our world hides this truth behind abundance and distraction, letting us forget that every choice is a trade. This alternate reality strips that away, showing us that worth isn't in the outcome, but in the intent, the awareness, the presence we bring to each deduction. It's a mirror held up to our habits, asking, are we spending our unseen reserve on what aligns with our deepest sense of meaning? Or are we just letting it drain through our fingers, uncounted and unclaimed? As we step out of this universe, the question lingers. What makes a moment valuable to you? Not in theory, but in practice. If you could see every second's cost, glowing and finite before your eyes, what would you pour it into? This isn't about guilt or optimization. It's about clarity. In our reality, time flows free and unmeasured, a gift and a curse. We don't hold an orb, but we do hold choices. This alternate world doesn't judge ours, it illuminates it, urging us to look closer at what we trade our existence for. So I'll leave you with this. If you could see every moment's cost, what would you choose to spend it on? The answer might reveal more than you expect.